it's impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. By Epictetus. This is a big one if you're kind of in coaching and consulting and
Totally.
you walk into a room, particularly when I used to be on the road, and you walk into a room full of high achievers and they all have their arms folded, and you're not going to teach me anything. I know all of this already.
Yeah, it's like on the one hand, you hired me because you think you need to learn something, and yet you're doing most of the talking.
Right.
Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, he would say, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. But most of what Stoicism is about this sort of pushing back on the ego, pushing back on the preconceived notions so you can learn and you can grow. Okay. If you're a know-it-all, you're right, because you can't know anything else, right? And meanwhile, if you come to what you do from a place of humility, from openness, if you identify as a student, you're going to learn and grow. Socrates is considered wise because he knows what he doesn't know, or he knows that he doesn't know. Mm-hmm. And the Socratic method is not Socrates going around lecturing the people of Athens. The Socratic method is Socrates going around asking questions and thus learning. And there's actually a story about Marcus Aurelius towards the end of his reign. He's seen leaving his palace, and a friend stops him and he says, "Sir, where are you going?" And he says, I'm off to see Sextus the philosopher to learn that which I do not yet know." And I love 2 parts of this. Number one, that he's the point of education is to learn what you don't know. Mm-hmm. But I even love that he's going to see the professor, right? Like, he's the most powerful man in the world. He could have sent for the teacher. He's taking up his tablets, they said, and going to school like an ordinary student. Yeah, and so the more you can identify as someone who has a lot to learn, that you haven't solved it all, that you're not better or superior to anyone else, I think is a really, really essential sort of frame of mind that you have to come to from it, that you started as a student and you intend to remain a student. And that is ironically how you become a master.
Yeah. Yeah, it really comes down to keeping your ego in check.
Yep.
And making sure that there's some level of humility and curiosity that you always integrate into your life, no matter what your stature becomes. And that's why Marcus Aurelius, because he was the most powerful person in the world, and listening to some of the things that he struggled with and some of his pursuits make it so, valuable for us to be able to look back at that.
There's a physicist who said that, as our island of knowledge grows, so does the shoreline of ignorance. And the idea is that the more you know, the more you are bumping up into things that you didn't know about. And if you see it that way, not that you're somehow, there's a finite amount to learn and you're approaching having learned all of it, but that everything you're learning is just exposing you to more and more things that you didn't even know existed before. Yeah. And that is the humbling part of it, is the, oh man, I didn't even know that this was out there. I was operating under an assumption that's not even remotely true. And that, I think that keeps you going also.
Yeah.